Hello, Joel Tadman here from Golf Monthly, and I'm at West Hill today and I've been testing the new Ping G410 iron. Now this, as you might imagine, replaces the G400 model, which was Ping's game improvement iron, and the Ping have really had a big focus on improving the looks of this club as well as the performance, especially around forgiveness. You might remember the G400, it was probably bigger than it needed to be. It was pretty long from heel to toe, and as a game improvement iron, we're seeing a trend more towards slimmer, more compact game improvement irons. A lot of golfers potentially don't want to be seen using chunky, oversized irons, even if they know they need to. There's a lot of irons out there on the market that are a lot slimmer but still offer really good distance and forgiveness as well. There's a lot of advances in technology that enable them to do that. We've seen hollow heads. This isn't a hollow head, but Ping have made some design changes to this iron compared to the G400. The specs are the same, so the length of shaft and the lofts are the same with G410 compared to G400, but Ping expect you to get a little bit more distance thanks to the way they've adjusted the weighting in this club. You remember G400 had a custom tuning port, which was kind of like a weight that was embedded in the sole of the iron. Actually, in the most recent G400, it was decoupled from the face, and that weight enabled them to place mass really low in the head to get the ball up in the air, but also allow them to adjust the swing weight as well. But Ping have actually taken the custom tuning port out of this club to redistribute it elsewhere. Most of that weight is going in the heel and the toe, and that's because Ping have added some tungsten weights here. You've got a weight in the hosel and a weight in the toe, so that's obviously going to raise the MOI, give you a bit more stability on those off-centre hits. It's got 10% less offset, there's kind of thinner transitions, and the blade length is also shorter from heel to toe. So this is actually more forgiving than the G400, but it's actually a little bit smaller. It's got the same MOI as the G-Max, which you might remember is one of Ping's super game improvement irons. So it's going to perform like a super game improvement club, but look more like a game improver / better player iron with the changes they've made into the size of it. Down at address, it is obvious that this iron is smaller, does have less offset. It's a pretty nice looking iron. It still looks relatively oversized, very inviting to hit behind the ball, that's for sure. We've got the number on the face, which I hate. That's still there. Who knows, one day they'll get rid of that, fingers crossed. We've got some badging here behind the face. This is actually a combination of aluminium and a material called Santoprene, which is basically an elastomer type material to dampen vibrations and improve the sound and feel of this club. It's hiding the Core Eye technology behind the face, which is essentially making the face hotter on a wider area. So we've got that on this model. We saw it in the G400 as well. I'm not a big fan of the screw here. You can see on the toe, that's pretty massive. I would like to think they could have done that in a little bit more of a refined way, a little bit more compact, make it a little bit more subtle. But aside from that, it's a very nice looking golf club, very confidence inspiring, and I really enjoyed hitting it. Tested it yesterday at Foresight HQ in Guildford using premium golf balls on the Foresight Sports GC Quad launch monitor. So I've got some data with that. Didn't have a G400 model to compare it to, but obviously I have tested the G400 before. I got some data we can compare that to. So let's have a look at those numbers to see exactly how this performed and give you a steer as to the type of golfer who would benefit from that performance. Okay, so let's dive into the numbers then we got with the Ping G410 7-iron. Like I said, same spec as G400, so this is 30 degrees of loft. We've got it in the Ping AWT 2.0 shaft in stiff. We'll start off with the ball speed number here, 121.4. That's very good. It's launching very high, actually 21.2 degrees, so clearly no issue in getting the ball up in the air. We've got a peak height of 39 yards, which is, normally around 37, 38 with a 7-iron, which is more traditionally lofted. So with this being a lot stronger lofted than the iron I use, and it's traveling a little bit higher than what I'm used to, that's obviously testament to the weighting in the head. Ping have made those adjustments to get the ball up in the air and be more forgiving. Certainly delivering on that. We've got a spin at 4,800 about, so that's pretty good. It's obviously quite low, but you'd expect that with an iron of this loft to be spinning quite low. There are lower spinning game improvement irons out there, so 4.8 is actually kind of where you'd want to be with that launch angle. An average carry of 176 yards, which is okay. I've definitely hit irons of this loft further. There's some hollow-headed irons out there that will definitely give you a little bit more ball speed. I wasn't expecting drastic changes in terms of performance from this iron compared to the G400, given the specs are the same. Yes, there's been some design improvements, Ping say, but comparing to the data, which admittedly was done when they launched the G400 iron just over 18 months ago, I was comparing the data I got with this with the data I got then, and the G410 was delivering marginally more ball speed on a similar launch angle, around about 400 RPM more spin with this club. Again, we don't know if that's down to the difference in date of testing, or it could be the performance of the head for sure. An average carry of 177, so very similar performance to G400, but what I would say is the dispersion was tighter. Hitting shots on the range here at West Hill Golf Club, found that the flight was very stable. Even though the blade length is shorter with this club, still found it very easy to hit. Off-centre hits held their line very impressively well. And I was interested to compare this iron to i500, which is Ping's hollow-headed compact distance iron, so it kind of fits a wide number of golfers, different types of players. And the 7-iron loft of that club is 30.5 degrees. So this iron is only 0.5 degrees stronger in terms of static loft. Compared to the G410, the i500 is slightly longer, it is slightly lower spinning, but what's most interesting about this is that G410 does launch the ball a lot higher, on average 2 degrees higher than i500. So considering it's stronger in loft by 0.5 degrees, that is a big difference in performance, and I think that's just going to kind of give you a steer as to who this iron is really aimed at. It's aimed at slower swing speed golfers who need help getting the ball up in the air. This is going to deliver that, because that's going to help you get more carry distance, have you hitting more greens by having less club into greens. You know, one thing I really wanted to look at with this club was the forgiveness off centre. You know, you're looking at the carry distances, they are very consistent indeed. With game improvement irons, you can get hot shots, shots that really fly off, but actually, you know, the ranging there from 173 to 178 in terms of carry distance with a 7-iron is pretty good. I'm very pleased with that. They're all averaging basically around about 122 miles an hour ball speed. That's very, very consistent, considering the strike locations are a bit all over the place. I mean, they're still relatively centered, but there's some in the heel, some in the toe, some high, some low. So, you know, there's a lot of things combining here to make this club much more user-friendly for the target golfer. You've got that Core Eye technology, which is certainly helping, I believe, in delivering consistent ball speed and accuracy from different strikes. And luckily, I've been able to test different parts of the face and found with a certain degree that you know, the technology, tungsten weighting, it's certainly keeping the face stable, it's preserving ball speed and accuracy as well. You know, you look at the ball flights and where the landing points are, it's a very consistent performer. The grouping of shots that I hit was very tight. They're nice and compacted around that target line. Obviously, there's a couple that went right and a couple that went left, but on average, dispersion was just 2 yards to the left. So that's kind of a demonstration of how consistent the ball speed and accuracy was, and any discrepancies there would be more towards how I delivered the club than the actual club itself. Hopefully that's given you an idea about what the Ping G410 offers. One thing you'll really like about this iron is the feel and sound of it. Testing here on the range at West Hill Golf Club, you've got the Centipede aluminium behind the face, dampening vibrations, and it contributes to what is a very solid, quite soft feeling golf club, to be fair. It still feels nice and powerful on a wide area. You feel like, you know, you can put a pretty bad swing on it, strike the ball relatively in the heel or toe, and still get some good results in terms of ball speed. That's something I definitely noticed. The preservation of ball speed across the face on this club was very impressive. There wasn't really a drastic drop-off in feel on really bad strikes, even though the GC quad was telling me where I was striking the club, there were some pretty bad ones. You know, I wasn't experiencing a drop-off in performance, which is encouraging for the type of golfer who's going to be wanting to use this club. Generally, they're going to be inconsistent ball strikers. They want as much help as they can get. This club is certainly going to deliver that compared to a lot of models out there. You know, this is obviously a distance iron. I like the fact that it's been slimmed down slightly, but it's also increased in forgiveness. That, you know, that ticks an awful lot of boxes for the target golfer who's going to want to use this club. I think most people will enjoy what this kind of profile looks like. You don't really notice the fact that It's smaller, it still looks very inviting to hit. Like I mentioned, there's some bits that some people won't like, the number on the face, the screw on the toe, but generally speaking, we're only talking marginal gains here over G400 in my opinion, which means that if you have a set of G400s, you probably don't need to be rushing to upgrade to the G410, but if you've got a model before that, maybe the G iron or an even older model, you should definitely think about switching into this new iron, because I do think you're going to get much more consistency from your ball striking, and that should help you find more greens, especially when you don't put an especially good swing on your golf ball. It comes out on February the 7th and has a retail price of £126 per iron, which is pretty reasonable in the landscape of golf clubs where prices are going up and up and up. Ping do have much more expensive irons in their range, thinking of i500 as an example. So certainly an option you should consider if you're a mid to high handicapper looking to upgrade your set in 2019. Make sure you consider this one, give it a try, see how it performs against what you currently use, and who knows, it might be an upgrade in terms of performance and should earn a place in your bag for 2019. But for now, from West Hill Golf Club, it's goodbye.